Welcome back to BT in 2020. Whew, it's been a year, and, well, we're not going to forget this one, right? The excitement of ushering in a new decade quickly turned into feelings of worry, uncertainty, and so much more during this pandemic. And it brought on many different feelings for all of us, and that seems to be one feeling that kind of seems to be common is stress. So helping us to manage this and identify this is life coach Stephanie Vardis Hadjipateras, and she's joining us from Athens, Greece this morning. Good morning, Stephanie.
Morning.
Or good afternoon for you, yes. We got to talk about this. We've heard about chronic pain, but chronic stress. Tell us about this and kind of how we can identify it.
So, stress is when you're faced with a certain situation or event, and the chemical is released in your brain, which turns on this fight or flight mode, you call. And chronic stress is when you're constantly faced with that and your body is constantly relieving that chemical, and that actually is not very good for the body.
And what are some of the symptoms? How do we know that this is, kind of overwhelming us? It's a little too much for us to handle.
Well, there are many symptoms to stress. It can start from irritation to migraines to high blood pressure, and when things become difficult and you start seeing high blood pressure or high cholesterol, that's when things might be a bit serious. So you might have to start taking a step back.
And Stephanie, you say that, one of the keys to kind of dealing with this is first identifying it. So how do we begin to identify and then start to deal with it?
Well, a lot of things I tell my clients to do is write things down on a piece of paper. So basically, it could be a certain situation at work, it could be even a certain person or a certain time of day. Write it down and then write down how it makes you feel, what happens to you. And then you can, looking at that written down or even saying it out loud helps you take a step back and maybe try to handle it in a different way.
And, if we're able to recognize it for ourselves, but maybe we handle it a little bit better, what about someone that we care about, that we notice, they're definitely under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and it could be this chronic stress, but they don't notice it yet? How do you approach someone and kind of let them know what's going on?
Well, the thing is that you can't force someone to come forward. They need to figure out for themselves. But what you can do is definitely be there for them, show them that you're understanding, you're not going to judge them, and anything they need, you will be there for them. And, slowly they can start opening up to you, because talking is one of the most important things.
And that's it. And that leads into the final thing that we're going to ask about is, how do we manage this once we identify and we are aware, how do we try and manage this the best we can? Because everybody reacts differently in different situations, right?
Yes, of course. And there's no right way of dealing with stress. There's the way that suits you. So one thing I definitely say is that people underestimate the power of self-talk. So definitely something you should be doing constantly and taking time for yourself and doing the things that make you happy.
And Stephanie, we're going to get going, but I need to ask, how are things in Greece there during this time now? Have things gotten better, and are you kind of back to a normal state of mind there, or is it still kind of rough?
I think we're all adapting to what you would call the new norm. I mean, here we were very lucky. We have a great government that put us in lockdown pretty fast, so the death toll was quite low, and now we're just, trying to social distance, wear our masks, and just adapt.
That's it. Awesome. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us this morning all the way from Greece and giving us some great info on this.